With Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War getting ready to release in about the next month or so, and coming down from all of the hype, the pageantry, and the amazement that we got from Modern Warfare, I think it's safe to say that we have moved away from the futuristic side of Call of Duty. But today, we're only going to be talking about one of those Call of Duty games. A particular Call of Duty game that many would describe to be the worst Call of Duty of them all. Okay, on a more serious note, it's Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. And upon its release, before the game even came out, it got a lot of criticism, mainly negative. To be honest, I actually liked the game, but not a lot of other players did, and people in general. So the purpose of today's video is to just go in depth with this game that's nearly 5 years old and figure out, why did everyone hate it? And is it really as bad as people say? The video will be split up into two main parts. The first part will be talking about statistically why the game failed, and then the second part will also be talking about just the game in general. So if you're a Call of Duty fan, or if you like Infinite Warfare or hate Infinite Warfare, then I suggest that you stick around and watch the entire video. And yeah, let's get started. So the year is 2016, Infinite Warfare gets released, and everyone's just hoping that the game does, at least pretty decent, but everyone's forgetting that Titanfall 2 came out the week before. Futuristic Call of Duty games were already on a downward spiral, and with Infinite Warfare being the third futuristic Call of Duty to come out, everyone was kind of fed up, and this would be the final nail in the coffin. Even though so many people have been begging Call of Duty to do something different than modern shooters, which brings me to my next point. The Call of Duty community can be the most passionate fans that anyone could ever have, but also some of the most toxic. Like K-pop stans. Like I said before, most people are already fed up with futuristic Call of Duty games, and therefore that's why so many people did not like Infinite Warfare before it even came out. Maybe if the game didn't have Call of Duty tied to it, it would probably do a lot better, because it's not the best game out there or the best Call of Duty game out there, but it's a pretty respectable one. One more thing that I do want to add to this part is that the cycle of Call of Duty games. If a Call of Duty game comes out and people don't like it, then about 3 to 4 years later, half of the people that said that they don't like it actually end up liking it, which is kind of bizarre. The Call of Duty fan base really needs to, get it together. For this part, I'm just going to briefly give a synopsis about the story, and then I'll go into the pros and the cons about the campaign. The story starts off with you and two other guys, these are the good guys by the way, and basically you guys are off to one of Saturn's moons, Europa, and you're supposed to retrieve this weapon that SDF has. So, you jump out your little spaceship, and then you glide in there, which I have to say this part was really cool. From here, it becomes your good old classical Call of Duty stealth mission. After you've trudged on, you then finally locate your weapon, but then, like all Call of Duty games, it goes terribly wrong. Here, you slowly get overran by a bunch of enemies, as well as these giant robots which you use lasers. I know this starts to sound insane. This forces you to use the weapon to destroy the base, but also nearly kill your team. You finally get to meet the main antagonist, Admiral Koch, played by that dude from Game of Thrones, and he gives you oxygen because you're low on it, just enough so you can listen to a monologue.
Prepare Cloud's judgment.
And then you get executed by Conor McGregor. You then jump into the boots of Nick Reyes, who's the main protagonist in the game, along with your sidekick-like character, Lieutenant Salter. Back on Earth, The entire UNSA fleet is under attack by the SDF when the Aegis guns fire off and destroy half of the fleet. This jumpstarts the rest of the game, and then you finally go into space. As Reyes and the rest of his crew work to try to get rid of the SDF, he is also joined by another full cast of characters, including some of the Marines and as well as others in the Navy. However, this wasn't the rest of the fleet, so you're forced to head straight to Mars by using the Olympus Mons, which is basically the ship that Koch pilots, and you basically get rid of the SDF for good, which comes at the expense of your death. As far for pros and cons, the sci-fi-like story was pretty good. I really like, but in some cases kind of dislike the way that the character development is. Ethan, of all characters, is my favorite, but that's only because that's the character that I had the most bonding with. Well, you could say Salter too, but Ethan is still my favorite. The reason why I have just a little bit of a small disliking with the character development is because it feels like that there's a common pattern. You see, you meet someone new, right? And then after you meet that person in the very next mission, they get killed. Which this happens multiple times throughout the campaign, which I get it, it's a war game and it happens. But then it only happens even more as the game gets closer and closer to the end. And all I'm saying is that I just wish that I just had a little bit more time to, get to know the characters better before they were blah. And so all in all, I gotta give the story maybe a 7 or 8 out of 10, because I mean it's solid. It's not the best, but it's pretty good if you're into sci-fi, if you ask me. So this is just a side note. I realized that I kind of glossed over a couple things that was good and bad about the campaign, so I'm just gonna quickly list those before we move on. So the first thing when it comes to the pros, or just some more pros, the amount of cameos. I mean, they had Lewis Hamilton, once again, that guy from Game of Thrones, and Conor McGregor in the game, and I thought that was pretty cool. Also, the music was insanely great. I forget Sarah, I don't know her last name, but she did good. It was really good, and just the story as in general was a bit of a tearjerker towards the end. So yeah, great storytelling. As far as cons go, I mean, the pacing could have been a little bit better. I don't know. You can take that how you want. But yeah. Also, one more thing. Yes, I realized that I kind of rushed it with the summary of the story. I didn't realize how much stuff that I actually needed to go back and say. But there's tons of videos on YouTube that you guys can kind of, get the gist of the story. So my apologies on my behalf on that. Like Infinite Warfare itself, the multiplayer in this game is both disliked and liked by many. Before I talk about this part, let's just get one thing straight. Is Infinite Warfare's multiplayer just hot garbage? No, at least to me. But, believe it or not, Infinite Warfare's multiplayer has a lot to offer. For starters, of course, you have many of the normal things that you expect from a Call of Duty multiplayer, or any multiplayer in any shooter to be exact. You've got your team deathmatch, you've got all of your other playlists like free-for-all, hardcore, etc. You can customize your loadouts, obviously, which I must say there's a lot of customization options. Tons of more customization options than the last two games that came after Infinite Warfare, which was World War II and Black Ops 4. One new addition that Infinite Warfare brought to this game were combat rigs. They were basically Infinity Ward's versions of specialists from Black Ops 3. However, these of course fit the theme of Infinite Warfare, and I must say each of them are different and unique. Each combat rig had their own special weapon that they could use, like the FTL's Eraser or the Warfighter's Claw. And hey, if you don't like the special weapon that your current combat rig uses, you can use two other special weapons that are exclusive to that one rig, which means that this also gives the player the freedom to explore his or her options with whatever special weapon they use. Another cool feature to the multiplayer are the types of weapons you can use. There's 3 different types of weapons: energy weapons, normal weapons, and what I like to call interchangeable weapons. Your normal weapons obviously just run on bullets or shells or whatever bullet the gun calls for. Guns like the NV4 or RPR Evo fit into this category. The ammo used in energy weapons are, I believe they're solar powered or something like that. Either way, the bullets will regenerate over time. However, to keep things balanced, it takes away bullets from your magazine. It's like automatic reloading basically. Guns like the Type 2 fit into this category, which brings me to my next part, interchangeable weapons. These weapons can have two different variations of them that you can change mid-game, like the Type 2, which can be your standard SMG, or can change into akimbo pistols.
Team deathmatch.
Now just for one last part with guns, there's one more part that Infinite Warfare did with their multiplayer, and that's prototype weapons, which are basically these unlockable weapons that you can get from the quartermaster, almost like blueprints in Modern Warfare, and they basically give you alternate versions, or more so upgraded versions of those guns with already preset perks and attachments. Long story short, Infinite Warfare has a lot of stuff to do in the sandbox and things to unlock. Speaking of things to grind for, there's also mission teams, which are basically factions that you unlock as you play more of the multiplayer, and they even give you these mini goals that you have to complete, which incentivizes you to go out and get kills or to do certain things and explore certain aspects of the multiplayer. You can earn things like bonus XP as well as keys that you can use when you go to the quartermaster, which is my next part. The quartermaster is where you go to upgrade guns to different prototypes and also basically get supply drops. Now, I know supply drops is something that COD fans particularly don't like, but it's not really as invasive, at least from the times that I've played. And there are a couple of things locked behind a paywall, I think, but if you can ignore it, then it's really not that much of a problem, because I still had fun without having to dump a whole lot of money on the game. And the thing is that it's not invasive to where it forces you to buy things. As far as problems go and minor inconveniences when it comes to the multiplayer, I only have just a couple, at least in my opinion. If you're a fan of Black Ops 3's fast-paced SMG in-your-face gameplay, then you probably won't get too much of that here. There will be little spurts here and there, but I noticed that the pacing when it comes to multiplayer, it's not as fast-paced, but you can still enjoy it. Also, another thing that I must touch on are the maps. Overall, the maps are kind of meh if you compare them all together. Like, there's the good ones. Obviously, Terminal is one of the best ones in my opinion. I really like how they took a really good map and then they made it kind of space themed. I think that that's really cool. Maybe 4 or 5 maps are the maps that I really like, and some of the problems with the maps are not the fact that they're, just 3-lane garbage, but it's the fact that they're just not that fun to play on, at least in my opinion. They don't just have anything that really makes me say, oh yeah, we gotta play there. No. To grade the multiplayer as a whole, I gotta say that Infinite Warfare has a lot to offer in terms of multiplayer. However, some people slept on it, and I don't know why. But it's not the best multiplayer out there, if we're being honest, but it is something that has, like I said, a lot to offer, and you can have a decent time with it, especially if you get some friends together. I recommend you go check out that multiplayer video I did. So Infinity Ward had their take on zombies, another third-party mode that they could add to the game, and even though I didn't sink so much time into it, I must say that it's pretty good. Over the course of Infinite Warfare's lifespan, they released like other, add-ons of zombie modes, but the one that we're going to be focusing on is just Zombies in Spaceland because obviously that was free. From the times that I played Zombies in Spaceland, it was pretty enjoyable. Like I said, I didn't really sink a whole lot of time into it because I kind of played the multiplayer a lot more, but it was something that if you were kind of done with the campaign and you wanted to take a break from multiplayer and just group up with some friends or just random people, then yeah, you can enjoy Infinite Warfare's zombies. Many of the guns that you use come mostly from Infinite Warfare's multiplayer, or just about every gun that's in the game if you want to be more exact. There's 4 characters to choose from. You have the stereotypical black guy, the stereotypical nerd, the stereotypical white girl, and the stereotypical jock. It follows the simple zombies narrative. You know, there's wave after wave of zombies, you know, it's self-explanatory. And like I said, it's pretty fun. There's power-ups that you can get while you play. And ultimately, it leads to the final boss, which is my next point as we get to the pros and cons of zombies. As far as pros go, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, like I said, I just haven't put that much time into it, and it can be fun. I don't really know too much else to really say about it, but the only con that I really have with zombies is the final boss. So the final boss is called aliens, and to keep it short, it's basically just a swarm of aliens along with this like really huge alien, and it's like really hard to beat. They do give you the benefit of being able to like choose whatever gun you want, and mostly they're LMGs, just basically all the heavy guns. But the problem is that it's so hard to beat the boss. The cool part is that when you die, as long as your other teammates don't die, you're not out, because there's the Afterlife arcade, which is basically a second chance. All you do is just do some mini games and you can come back to the game. So zombies as a whole, it's alright. Alright, so I know it's been a pretty lengthy video. I don't really do videos like this at all or often. So let's ask the question again. Is Infinite Warfare a bad game? To some who still might have that opinion, that's okay. But the purpose of this video was to just try to let everyone know that while it isn't the best Call of Duty game out there, all of the criticism that it got, it definitely didn't deserve all of that. Okay, I get it. As fans of Call of Duty in general, we can get angry and things like that, but just like I said, all of the criticism and just the hate that this game got, it didn't deserve all of it. Okay, so hopefully by watching this video, I maybe made you see a different light. And with that being said, yeah, be sure to leave a like on the video. And yeah, because this really took a while for me to make and edit. If you made it to this point of the video, be sure to comment. I don't know, I made it to the end. Make sure that you leave a like. Comment down below what you think about the game, what you thought about the game, what you think about this video, about any of my points. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. And I don't really have anything else to say. So this is Sqweeps, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.